What is going on, Alpha Hunters? Hope everybody's having a very terrific Thursday. Man, whew, week is flying by. That's all I can say. I totally forgot what day it was. Whew, it is flying by. It also kind of helps when every day is like 1% change or more on the market. Man, we've seen some pretty good movement across the markets this week, and get another one again today. Nice gap up this morning. About another what? How much did we get up? About 1%. Yeah, about 1%. And that comes on the heels of when we were on the live stream yesterday, it was kind of we were talking right. We were talking about pulling it back. It was really good and talking about it on the daily picture. Made a lot of sense. And we then kind of went and sold down about 2.5%, I guess, from the highs of the morning to the lows, basically at the close yesterday, about 2.5%. So yeah, just you man, if you didn't do it yesterday, you gotta really be looking at today like, yeah, you know what? It's not a bad time to maybe do that because wow, we did roll down pretty brutally yesterday. We did get some economic data, some jobs data that came out this morning. Initial jobless claims, 233K. Forecast was calling for 240K, and if you remember last week, we got 250K. Remember that was a huge number. What's really kind of interesting about the jobs data, I haven't, I don't really, people don't really care to pay attention to jobs data. Uh, Unless we're going into like it seems like we're going into like a recession type vibe, or it seems like we're going into a recession. So we'll see if that does wind up playing out. But we're still like in this uptrend, and the thing that is kind of interesting is typically at the end of the month we do get larger spikes. Right, we got one at the end of April. We kind of got one, looks like kind of at the end of May, right there at the beginning of June, and we kind of had a little bit of a spike there at the end of June. What's kind of interesting about that, and I don't know if that's like a normal thing. We got one right there at the end of March, but I would have to imagine a lot of that has to stem with payroll. Through the end of the month, payroll, and you don't want to get obviously into the next payroll period, so you're probably doing layoffs by the end of the month, which whether it's bi-weekly or whatever, but I would imagine there's a lot of companies out there that probably have payroll that go and start at the beginning of a month or whatever. So that probably has a lot to do with it, I'd imagine, but it is kind of a weird anomaly that I don't track this all the time, but even at the end of January, we had a pretty good spike there before we got to the end of January. So yeah, it is kind of an interesting one to see that we do spike at the end of the month. So be curious to see if we spike at the end of the month this month. All right, so let's take a look at what is going on today. So yeah, we did have that gap up, pretty good run, and if you're kind of looking at yesterday's price action, we kind of just came right into this little double top pivot that we put in yesterday morning. Kind of just came right into that neckline. So, we ran right to it today. So we'll see if we kind of top out here, maybe roll over. But that is exactly where we ran to today so far. As far as the Qs go, Qs kind of did the same thing, kind of a little double top yesterday, neckline. That's where we ran to. Qs had a little bit more of a gap up, and they're up pretty good today, up 2.4%. They did gap up about 1.4%. So yeah, they've traded pretty well intraday. A little bit more of a stronger pullback here in the first 20 minutes, but they've ran pretty hard since then. IWM's up 1.8%. Looking pretty good. Nice gap up there. DIA, nice little gap up. Nice run here on the DIA throughout the day. Got bought up initially on the open, up 1.4%. RSP up 1.5%. A little bit of a gap up there. So yeah, everything's kind of getting bought up. Looking pretty good there. So it looks like maybe we're starting to see some consolidation at these levels on some of these ETFs. I think maybe like another day or two we'll really kind of be able to figure that one out. So, yeah, RSP. Yeah, not looking any one way or another right now. Still waiting on some of these shorter term moving averages like the 10, the 20 to kind of come down, on the RSP and the DIA. So we'll see how that interaction kind of happens here over the next probably like day or two, maybe early next week. IWM trying to bounce today. Yeah, that sell down yesterday. A lot of these ETFs looks kind of wickedly bad. But we did have a pretty good gap up today. We did have a pretty good gap up with that jobs data. So we'll see if we continue just to kind of bounce around here a little bit. If we push higher here over the next couple of days, I'd imagine we do get a little bit more of a pullback. So if you're kind of de-risking yesterday, you probably get an opportunity to get back in. Let the market have its volatile moments. Don't make irrational decisions, that kind of stuff. Other than that, SPY looking all right. It is getting back into that area, though. It's been having a hard time. I mean, we rejected out of this area, Tuesday, obviously yesterday, Wednesday. So we'll see what happens again today as we are getting into that resistance kind of area there on the SPY and the Qs. All right, we'll see how it goes. VIX dropping off today. It was, for the most part, was dropping off yesterday, but wound up climbing by the end of the day, obviously with the sell down that we had for pretty much the rest of the day. Okay. Dixie bounced kind of hard. We got the jobs data. Yeah, we got the jobs data, bounced kind of hard, and now it's rolling over. And really, that could have just been a quick retest. Didn't quite make it to this low, but it came right into that 10 daily EMA. Came right off of that sucker and it's come down. See how that thing ends on the day. Gold, the GLD, the gold trust. Yep. It keeps pushing higher and consolidating, pushing higher and consolidating. I mean, it just any kind of pullback, man, just keep being bullish on it. Yields continuing to climb. Interesting. Okay. So obviously they're hitting into that 4% level on yields. Obviously we wicked above the 4% level. We've come back down a little bit. What was that recently? Yeah, that was real recently. Okay, so see what yields do by the end of the day. But if they start to get it back above that 4%, that would be kind of cause for concern for yields. Everybody's saying that yields are going to keep dropping. 10-2 inversion. It climbed yesterday. I mean, we're getting really close to holding back over the zero line here. I mean, we're getting really close. HYG, high yield corporate bonds, not really doing a whole lot today. Okay, high yield corporate bonds not really doing a whole lot. LQD has pulled back pretty good into some previous highs over the past several months, and the 20 EMA. So maybe we do find a bounce spot. Obviously, it's trying to bounce here, but I mean that's not really like a very strong, a lot of volume or anything like that kind of coming in. Just kind of hanging out more than anything else. So it doesn't really stoke a lot of confidence in my opinion. And man, yeah, this just looks so bad. Like how quickly we went up and quickly we've come back down. Not saying it doesn't retest and it just slowly push higher, but this is always the real problem with these hugely aggressive moves, is that once they stop and you get the aggressive move the opposite direction, you start to pick up steam and you get that momentum change. And it could eventually just retest and keep going with the previous direction, but sometimes that momentum change just kind of comes down. You try to bounce around a little bit, then it just continues to keep dropping or keep reversing. So, yeah, a lot of things are in very interesting spots right now, and I think it's gonna be a good time to just wait right now. Wait and see how things kind of move here soon. All right, as far as sector rotation on the day, yep, tech, XLK leading the day. Nice gap up there on tech. Quick pullback, first 20 minutes. Yep, we saw all that. Tech leading the day. See if it rolls over here. Looks like it's trying to roll over here over the past like 20 minutes or so. We'll see if that happens. Industrials, healthcare, discretionaries, energies all slightly outperforming there. Financials, materials, communications, underperforming. Staples, real estate, and utilities all kind of out down at the lower end of the day. If we take out the gap, let's see how things look. So if we take out the gap, you can see tech got hit pretty hard there in the first 20 minutes. Yeah, we did notice that when we looked at the Qs. Tech got hit pretty good, but they bounced back pretty sharply. So we'll see what happens with tech by the end of the day. And healthcare also underperforming there intraday. Yeah, tech, materials, communications. Geez, things are moving. Financials and discretionaries all in line with the market there. Industrials, utilities outperforming. Staples outperforming. Energies, intraday best performer. There you go. And I think they actually had a gap down because I think they were at the lower end. They were kind of in line with the market. Okay. What was real estate and utilities are kind of at the lower end of the day. So utilities have actually been getting bought up. I just had a little gap down. As far as the way the heat map looks, a lot of green out there. What is the red over here? MCK. Okay. And Monster. Wow, Monster. So if there's anything you guys want to take a look at, let me know. MCK, how's MCK doing? Earnings. Cancel. Earnings. They missed on revenue by about 4%. How is that? Oh, this is not. I was thinking this is McCormick. This is not McCormick. This is McKesson, a medical distributor. I don't even know what I just said right there. Medical distributor. There we go. So they missed on revenue by about 4%. They did beat on earnings. Yeah, investors don't want to see you missing on revenue because, that's growth, right? You're missing on growth. That's always a bad thing. You can only optimize the business so much. So, okay. Yeah, missed on revenue a little bit. Past 2 quarters, they've missed on revenue. Well, they got guidance going higher. Let's see. Long terms, they broke through the 100. Yeah, you got a pretty good pocket here between that 100 and 200. So, how's that look intraday? Oh, they did it real quick. They did a real quick move on the open lower. All right. So that's MCK and then Monster, MNST, Monster Beverage. Ooh, Monster Beverage missed revenue by 5.5%, missed earnings by about 10%. Wow. All right. Yeah, they not really much to say. How much are you expecting this company to really grow? It's basically kind of just going sideways. Probably has slight long-term growth to it. Nothing crazy. Utilities. What is going on here? So like everything's up a lot, but like utilities aren't really doing a whole lot. VST earnings up. Revenue came in at 3%. Light. Revenue came in under 3%. 3% miss, and then earnings came in basically flat. Okay. And then CNP. Nice gap up. Not earnings. They had earnings, looks like, at the end of July. Okay. And then what was the other one? NRG. Gap up on earnings, 5.5%. All right. CEG. Constellation. Up 3%. Not even on earnings, just a nice gap up. So one of these guys probably said something good about nuclear energy or something like that. One of those guys that had earnings. Let's go run through big tech. It's been a couple days. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, nice little gap up. They actually traded negative today. Wow. So NVIDIA gapped up, traded negative, and then bounced up currently 2.8%, but it looks like it wants to top out here and roll over. Okay, Microsoft. Microsoft is rolling over, has been rolling over. Okay, interesting, nice gap up, quick pullback, but bounced. A little bit of a double top action here. Before we got to the, top of the hour, second half of last hour, but it has definitely pulled back pretty good here over the past 25, 30 minutes. Okay. AAPL. Wow, AAPL, nice gap up. Quickly traded down, negative, bounced. It did not take out its morning gap up high and made a lower high and is rolling over. Okay. Tech is showing some weakness. I like it. I don't really like it, but Alphabet, nice gap up. Nice push. It didn't really do too much on the open. Nice little double bottom here. Nice push there in the second 30 minutes, it looks like. Kind of looks like it wants to roll over here. See if that winds up happening. Meta. Yeah, Meta kind of looks like AAPL or Microsoft. Nice little gap up, quick little pullback, nice bounce, kind of rolling over. Amazon. Amazon gapped up, pulled back, bounce, rolling over. Okay. And I haven't looked at Tesla in a bit. Tesla, nice little gap up, traded down, did not get negative, bounced. It is pulling back. Okay. Ooh. Tesla. Oof. That is a gap down from Monday. Jeez. Tesla's getting sandwiched in between that 100, 200 here. I don't really know what to think here. I mean, you could definitely play, the 200, break above the 200, go bullish, or break below the 100, go bearish. Play something like that. Let me run back through those again on the daily. Amazon, that's right. I forgot Amazon had that wicked gap down on Friday last week. So Amazon got crushed so bad because of Friday, and then the market gap down so much on Monday. Man, it left Amazon in a really, really bad spot. Oh my gosh, we need to check this out on a weekly. Man, that looks so brutal on a weekly. Because you had a hugely bearish week last week, breakdown, then you gap down. Now you just retested into the 50 weekly EMA. And is that just a retest? And now we're going to continue to trade lower? Man, it's just, that is a brutal one. How about the monthly? Monthly, it looks like the monthly is trying to bounce off the 20 EMA. That's why it's kind of tough. All right. Anyways, that's Amazon. I'm not gonna spend all day on it, but Amazon's kind of brutal. Meta. Obviously, it had the gap down on Monday. It has bounced back pretty good. It's gone back above the moving averages. Probably better than like a lot of the other big tech companies that don't have that look to it. So Meta's not looking too bad. Alphabet, nice gap down on Monday. It has been getting bought up. There was, let me see if it's still there. As far as like major news and analysis, OpenAI is a bigger threat to Google than U.S. regulators. So the thing I want to say is it's not even just OpenAI; it's AI in general, and that is something that we've been talking about. I haven't talked about that in several weeks, but that was definitely something that we were talking about last year a lot with Alphabet, because I mean Alphabet with their antitrust lawsuit basically saying like, hey, they have a monopoly on search, which everybody's known that for well over a decade. Glad the U.S. regulators finally caught up to that one. But the it's not that they own search. It's that the market is going to change directions away from search to OpenAI, to not even open AI, but just AI. And I mean that is the biggest threat to Alphabet. We talked about that before. To why it's to why that is, to me, that's the biggest risk by far. And the fact that now the U.S. regulators are now coming after them for being a monopoly in search. I mean, that could be just like the double-edged sword at the same time, right? I mean, I'm like, it's like a two-headed trident. You're getting stabbed twice, you know. So I know trident is 3 spears at the end. What's a two spear at the end? Like, is that a bident? I don't know. Other than that, man. Oh yeah. So yeah, August 8th, new Boeing CEO should be on his first day of work. Hey, have fun with all the HR bullcrap you probably got to go through on your first day. Imagine being in your first day of work. You're sitting there in onboarding with the CEO. That'd be pretty funny. All right. Anyways, Alphabet doing its thing. AAPL. Yeah, like, is Meta the only one that's above all of its moving averages on the daily? I think it is. I mean, I was thinking maybe Apple, but Apple, I forgot it, man. They got hit with a huge gap down on Monday. Huge gap. How much was this gap down on Monday? I mean, this is 9.33% there on Apple. So you really tell where the leverage was by how much companies gap down on Monday, because the more they gap down with the margin call on leverage that happened over the weekend because of the Japanese rates that changed early. Well, I mean Sunday night in the U.S., but it was early in the day in Japan. So you really tell how much leverage there is out there for some of these companies. That has to be one of the biggest concerns as a Apple investor. How much leverage there is, because we go through a deleveraging cycle, Apple's going to get absolutely smoked. So, anyways, that's AAPL. Microsoft's in a pretty good downtrend. That's about a month, right? I mean, we topped out on Microsoft July 5th. I mean, we've just been trading down ever since. Obviously, we hit a low Monday, but yeah, doesn't look great. Nvidia below all its moving averages, and AMD. We'll see if AMD bases here pushes higher. I'd imagine probably does. I like AMD a little bit more, but they need to get their foot in the door on the AI game. in a big way. Other than that, is that most of all the big tech? Yeah, pretty much. So Costco's up over 3%. They're doing pretty good. It looks like they came down, bounced off that 100 moving average on Monday. Yeah, it looks pretty solid. Looks pretty good. Oh, Qualcomm, AVGO. So AVGO bouncing pretty good in between that 100 200. Qualcomm bouncing into that 200 moving average that it has hit now 5 days in a row. That 200 daily moving average right there. And the fact it's not getting back above it, that is very scary because now you got the 10 that's almost to it. That 10 daily moving average is getting really close. Qualcomm. And then Micron. Yeah, Micron's below its 200 days. So yeah, we've seen a lot of flow out of some of the big tech semiconductor space. Okay. We'll see what happens by the end of the day. Talk about it tomorrow, but man, look at that crazy Morningstar kind of reversal. Is that a Morningstar reversal? Man, that is really close. You got to really zoom in on this one. Oh my gosh. Not quite. Man, that is not quite. But I haven't seen one like kind of like that. I haven't seen one like that in a while. Wicked little sell off, a little bit of a doji action and a bounce back. Yeah. I haven't seen one look like that in a while. All right, Alpha Hunters, we'll see what kind of things percolate today, but I think tomorrow's going to be a pretty big deal on how we end out the week. So we'll see how that kind of goes. Alpha Hunters, have a great rest of your day. Take care.